What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down 4 double move routes that all wide receivers should learn. Let's get started. Now, before we get into this video, fellas, if you're a wide receiver or even a quarterback and would like access to 200 plus wide receiver and quarterback drills, all broken down for you with the exact sets and reps to do and organized into specific categories like catching, route running, press releases, etc., check out that very first link in the description below where you can get access to over 200 drills plus 5 weekly drills that we will upload that keeps you with up-to-date new drills that will help you out with your game. So if you guys want access to 200 plus drills, soon it'll be 300, 400, 500, etc., because we will continue to upload. Check out that very first link in that description below. Let's get back to this video. Alright guys, so the first route that we are going to be breaking down that's a double move is going to be a Sluggo route. So a Sluggo route is one of those routes, it's a slant and go route, and it's very, very important that we sell the slant in a specific way, and that's what we're going to be discussing. So on a Sluggo route, obviously we were trying to make it look exactly like a slant route. So basic terms, let's say it's zone coverage, DB's maybe about 5, 6, 7, 8 yards off. If I'm doing a Sluggo, you want to think of it 3 and 3. So it's 6 steps total. So you're going to come off, we're doing a 3-step slant. It's 1, 2, 3, breaking off the right foot, and I'm going to show you how this route's going to look full speed in a second. I'm going to show you how all these routes are going to look full speed in a second. Now, when you break here, you're going to break 3 steps onto a slant angle. Now, it's going to be, again, 1, 2, 3, putting the brakes on, then we're slipping back upfield on this vertical portion of the route. Now, the technique on this, to be able to get this DB to crash down, we have to focus on doing 3 specific things. Number 1, or I would say 4 things. Number 1, we got to make it obviously look like a slant to start. Number 2, the first thing that should snap to the inside are your eyes. Now, again, a DB is not supposed to be looking at your eyes. He's supposed to be watching what? He's supposed to be watching your body language, but the eyes will help your body commit. So snapping the eyes and committing your hips and shoulders is the first thing that you have to do. So many wide receivers will break on a Sluggo. They'll cut, they'll go here, but they'll be drifting upfield. A good DB is not going to crash on that because that does not look like a slant. We have to fully commit to the break. So you break here, fully commit 1. Now, second thing, or third thing I should say, we don't want to take choppy steps. That's something that a DB looks for in a double move. If you guys break to a Sluggo and you go choppy steps, that's not going to get that DB to crash. He knows that a double move is going to be coming when you take those choppy steps. So we have to take 3 big steps. You break on this slant, it's 1, 2, 3, and then the last thing, you got to have speed. If you change your speed and you slow down preparing for the break, that is one of the biggest ways to let that DB know that a break is coming. So again, I'm going to show you how this is going to look full speed. A Sluggo route is a route that you have to have in your tool belt to be a multi-dimensional wide receiver. Alright guys, so the next route that we're going to be talking about is a hitch and go route, or like a stop and go route, if you will. It's pretty much considered the same thing, but we're going to do it like a hitch today, okay? So now, hitch and go, this is pretty much just like a route, like same thing as the slant and go. We're trying to sell the first move, we're trying to sell this hitch to draw this DB in so I can get some separation over the top. Now, when we do this, there are a couple key things that we need to focus on. So the steps of this route, because again, this route is also going to be against zone coverage. You are going to be breaking off of your second inside step. So if some of you aren't used to counting steps, this is what I mean by counting steps. So when you're in your stance, say the quarterback is to the left, your left foot is obviously your inside foot, your right foot is your outside foot. So when you count steps, you don't want to think of routes like, oh, I'm going to break off of my 5th step where I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's way too much counting. You're going to slow yourself down and you're going to overthink. You want to count off of inside or outside steps, right? So I'm going to be breaking off of my second inside, which is the left foot. So I come off here, I'm not counting that. That's 1. That's 2. And the second inside is where you are going to drop your hips, decelerate, but when you decelerate, you're going to get into an athletic position and then accelerate back upfield to the go portion of this hitch and go. But it's very, very important that we sit down into the break to draw that DB in. Because again, let's say, for example, maybe it's not zone, maybe it's like off man. DB's supposed to be watching our what? He's supposed to be watching our hips, right? So when I hit that second inside step, I got to actually sit down with my hips. Think of it like you're, playing a game of musical chairs as a kid. When you're playing musical chairs, what do you do when that music stops? You sit down quickly. So that's how I need you guys to do this on the second inside. So you hit this second inside step, we sit down quickly, we stay on the ball of my foot so I could re-accelerate easier. I keep my head down to widen myself from that DB and catch that ball over the top. So hitch and go, same thing on a stop and go, a stutter go, whatever the terminology is that you use. I'm going to show you this is going to look full speed. And again, the steps may differ based on how deep it is, but this is a sit like right at about 5 yards. All right, guys, so this next route that we're going to be talking about is something called a return route. So a return route is kind of the opposite of, I'm sure you guys all know what a whip route is. So a whip route, or like a pivot route, is where you break to a slant and then you whip back out to this out route. So this return route is kind of the, like, you're selling an out route, then whipping back in, if you will, to an inside breaking route, like an in route, you know, like an under route, however you want to think of it. But they call it a return route because you're returning back to the inside, but it's trying to sell this 5-yard out break, okay? So now, what you're going to be doing, it's still off of your second inside step, just like the hitch and go that we discussed. So we come off here, it's first inside, second inside you break, then it is 3 steps to the out, very similar to an out and up route, which we will be discussing later in this video. So you break here, it is 3 steps. It is going to be 1, same idea, your eyes got to snap back to the quarterback, so your hips and your shoulders commit, that's 1. You go 2, then on the 3rd step, so I'll scoot over a little bit so you guys can see me, break here, 1, 2, 3rd step, we have to drop my hips. It is very important that on the 3rd step, that is when you're slowing yourself down. Just like on that slant and go, if you guys start to slow your speed down before the hip drop or before the cut, that's an indicator to the DB that it is a double move, that it's not an actual out route. So we got to make sure I maintain my speed. So I come off here, speed, stride, we drop. Then after I drop, this fourth step, if you will, has to hook around, and you were trying to turn your toes back to the line of scrimmage so we can drive off and then return back to the inside. So a return route is the opposite, kind of the opposite of a whip route. I'm going to show you this thing is going to look full speed. Make sure we let our hips slow us down rather than slow my speed, chop my stride to prepare for that break. All right, guys, so this next route that we're going to be discussing is going to be an out and up route, like we mentioned in the previous clip. So now, out and up route, it's pretty much the same idea as any other double move that we talked about today, and in terms of how you have to sell this route, but a lot of times on an out and up, guys struggle to sell this out route because they drift off of the break, and that's what I want to get across to you today. So this route, how we're going to be working it, you could do this obviously a little bit deeper. There's variations of it, right? There's a 5-yard out and up, there's maybe a 10-yard out and up, or maybe even a 15-yard out and up as you get to a little bit more advanced playbook, like college level type playbook, but we're doing it like it's 5 yards. So it's going to be off your second inside step. So you come off here, set, go, first inside, second inside. We're still taking 3 steps to the outside, but this is where guys go wrong because they're so used to having speed into this out route. They'll cut, they'll drift up field for 3 steps, and they never actually sell that outside breaking route to get that DB to crash. So what you can do to make sure that we get out at that flat angle is you have to use your elbows. What I tell my wide receivers is you want to think of it like you are breaking glass. So you cut to this out route, you break here, you got a plate of glass behind you, you're trying to break the glass while you're taking those 3 steps to help your hips flip, get you down that 90, which is what will get that DB to crash even harder. So I'm going to show you how this is going to look full speed. Again, it's off of my second inside, so I come off here, set, go, it's 1, 2, break glass, 1, 2, 3, break, and make sure after we break, fellas, up to that out route, you are keeping that head down. We're not looking back for the ball right away so I could separate from that DB and get even more space. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you would like to get access to 200 plus wide receiver drills that you guys can do, all broken down with the exact sets and reps to follow and placed into categories, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to get you on that, fellas, and get you that type of content. I'll see you guys next time.